Assalamu alaikum. Welcome Islamic Circle brothers and sisters. My name is Nourdine. As you know, we're in lockdown still. Virus is around, hasn't gone anywhere. But today, the main speaker, inshallah, is Brother Nourdine Khallouki. He's been with us since 80s. Regular speaker in Islamic Circle. Very knowledgeable brother, mashallah. And today he'll give the main talk. Love of Allah, inshallah. I hope you enjoy the talk. Inshallah, see you next week. Please look after yourself. Things are not right yet. Assalamu alaikum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I hope that you are getting used to these virtual meetings. Indeed, Brother Noble is still trying to continue the circle. May Allah bless him and continue this for all these years. Indeed, he's been doing the same thing. Today he's asked me to give you some small talk about 20 minutes or so. So inshallah, I've chosen the topic for you of the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'll kickstart with the hadith from Bukhari and Muslim, which is related by Anas. Those who know Anas was he lived with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as his servant since the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to Medina. He was a very young boy given by his mother, or his mother gave him to ask the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to take him, and he will be serving the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He lived with the Prophet all these 10 years in Medina. And he narrated this hadith, which is, as I said, in Bukhari and Muslim. And the Prophet he narrated the Prophet said, ثلاثة من كن فيه ذاق وجد حلاوة الإيمان. Three things, if you have them, you will find the sweetness of Iman. So we have to look for these three things. If we have them ourselves, and obviously we will find the sweetness of Iman. من كان الله ورسوله أحب إليه من سواهما. Whoever he loves Allah and His Messenger more than anyone else. That's quality number one. Quality number two, ومن أحب عبدا لا يحبه إلا لله. And then you love no one, or you love anyone or everyone, whoever you love, you must love them first and foremost for the sake of Allah. And three, ومن يكره أن يعود في الكفر بعد أن أنقذه الله كما يكره أن يلقى في النار. And whoever hates to go back to disbelief after finding Iman, as he would hate to be thrown into hellfire. So as you can see, there are two key words here, so that we're going to try to develop a little bit. Word number one, the sweetness of Iman, and word number two, the love of Allah and His Messenger, and the love of the slave, and the love of not being, the love and the hate, you love to be in Jannah and hate to be in hellfire, and so on. These two words are extremely important here. First, we take the word of Iman. Iman. As you know, in Iman in Islam is a question of you practice it, you learn it, you study it. It comes to you develop it basically. And then in Surah of Muhammad, Surah 47, Ayah 19, Allah tells us subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ. You must know. So that means that you have to study and learn. Al-ilm is knowledge. Ilm in Arabic means science also. It means study, learn, get information, develop yourself, and so on. فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لِذَنْبِكَ. Do know that there is no deity except Allah. You must know it first, and then you do the action. First istighfar and action and so on. So obviously there is action before, there is something that you must do before your action of Iman. So Iman requires that here it requires a little bit of work. Give you an example from the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. Indeed, in the Quran, in Surah number 47, Ayah 14 and 19, some Bedouins came to the Prophet ﷺ, and when they embraced Islam, and told him, Ayah says, قالت الأعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم. The Bedouins come to you, Muhammad, they say, we believe. Tell them you do not believe, but you are Muslims, you practice Islam. ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم. But Iman has not yet entered, so you can see there is hope here. He didn't close the door. He didn't say you will not find Iman. He said Iman has not yet, so therefore there is work that you have to do. And then he explained to them what Iman, the ayah next to it, it's ayah number 15. And then he said in the ayah number 15, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَثُمَّ لَمْ يَرْتَابُوا. Indeed, the believers are only those, and I insist, only those who believe in Allah and His Messenger and then have no doubt. وَجَاهَدُوا بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. and then strive with their wealth and their lives for the sake of Allah, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الصَّادِقُونَ. Those are the truthful ones. So obviously there is a question here that we're asked here to remove the doubt. We cannot live with the doubt. And of course, Islam tells us also how do we verify that we don't have this doubt? How does it go away? That we have indeed this conviction of Iman. Here we read in Surah Al-Anfal, Surah number 8, from ayah number 2. And he says, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُم. The believers are only those when the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioned, their hearts start trembling. وَإِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ زَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا. When the verses, the ayat in Arabic has got two meanings, the verses of the Quran, or indeed the signs of the universe. The Quran tells us, إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. In the creation of the heavens are signs, ayat, signs. You can signs the real ayat we read, we call them the Quran, we call them ayat, and the universe is in front of us is also called ayat, signs. And وَإِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ زَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا. So here, the more they know about his sign, the more they increase, the iman increase. These are the ones that means iman goes up and down. Basically, it goes. You should develop more iman on a continuous basis. وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. And then they have this full trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then he continues, الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ. The actions comes later on, but you can see that iman comes first. You have certain things that it tells you whether you have iman or not, and how you develop it is by through reading and studying and going to work and going to universities, like let's call it this way, studying what the universe is. How do we develop all knowledge altogether? Knowledge normally develops from two things: from hearing, from seeing, or studying, learning. So hearing, somebody can just develop iman, like those Bedouins that we just spoke about, and you read in the Quran tells us it's okay. That's something that you can do as well. Surah 3, ayah 193 tells us, رَبَّنَا إِنَّنَا سَمِعْنَا مُنَادِيًا يُنَادِي لِلْإِيمَانِ أَنْ آمِنُوا بِرَبِّكُمْ فَآمَنُوا. Oh our Lord, we have heard someone calling to iman and we believe. رَبَّنَا فَاغْفِرْ لَنَا ذُنُوبَنَا وَكَفِّرْ. Oh Allah, forgive our sins. And so basically they accepted through hearing. Somebody comes and told them, I am Muhammad, I am the messenger. They have no education to study and learn and so on, but obviously they have maybe had his proof that he developed, whatever proof he convinced them with, and then they accepted him and they're gone. So obviously this is one way you can hear somebody. For example, you can hear your daughter, your son, your wife, your husband telling you, I've done this, or this needs to be this to have this, and you trust them. You accept them because you trust them, you believe in them. And the Prophet ﷺ, when he came, everybody knew that he was a trustworthy. Everybody accepted him as such. And they accepted him. Whatever he says, they accepted him. And then the second way of getting knowledge or getting conviction or information is through sight. Sight, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us you're not going to be able to see him. So that tool is out of your control. It's not available to us. He tells us in Surah 6, ayah 103, لا تدركه الأبصار. No sight can see him. And of course, as you all know, we've been asked in Surah Al-Baqarah in the very beginning, الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. We've been asked to believe in the unseen. You're going to have to believe in the unseen. The third means of getting the information is through knowledge. And of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided us how to get this knowledge. What knowledge we are talking about is, if you read Surah Al-Imran, Surah 3 from ayah number 18, شهد الله أنه لا إله إلا هو الملائكة وأولو العلم قائما بالقسط. Allah is witnessing that there is no God except Him. That is called testimony for self. Obviously, you know yourself better than anyone else. وَالْمَلَائِكَةِ, the angels are surrounding, close by. وَأُولُو الْعِلْمِ, and people of knowledge, and no one else. You can see that obviously it is very important. Knowledge in Islam is extremely important for developing iman. And of course, as you know, the first ayah that was revealed, اقرأ, read. So obviously, if more you read to get information, you get knowledge and so on. The more knowledge, the more knowledge you have, you will get this information. And then he encourages us to go beyond that, go to this what we call cause and effect thing. When you see something, obviously you ask. When you see something beautiful, you say, who's made this? So here we go. He will ask us, for example, in Surah number 52, ayah 35, he says, أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ أَمْ خَلَقُوا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ بَلْ لَا يُوقِنُونَ. Have they been created from nothing? أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. Have they created themselves? أَمْ خَلَقُوا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Have they created the heavens and the earth? بَلْ لَا يُوقِنُونَ. Then they don't know. Basically, they don't know. This is talking about the non-believers. And then he goes on. Throughout the Quran, give you an example for example, Surah number 27. أَمَّنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Who has created the heavens and the earth? He asks you a question. So obviously you have to ask yourself. If a question comes, who? And then you find the same Surah 27, continue, أَمَّنْ جَعَلَ الْأَرْضَ قَرَارًا. Who has made this earth stable? As you know, the earth is shaking and moving like at speeds that you can't even imagine. And yet you find it, you're stable, comfortable on it. Who's made this comfort to feel comfortable on it? He's asking us to think. And then if you go, for example, another Surah, Surah Al-Anbiya, Surah 21, from ayah 30 onwards, أولم يرى الذين كفروا أن السماوات والأرض كانتا رتقا ففتقناهما وجعلنا من الماء كل شيء حي. Have they not seen, those who are not believers, that the universe, the heavens and the earth were to join together and we split them asunder? And we made from water everything in life. Is this not fact? We all know it from science today. This is so-called Big Bang and so on. Everybody knows this. This becomes a study to kids in schools these days. They know that the universe was together gases and then split and formed the planets as we know them and so on. Have you not seen that this is what it was? And he's telling you this is what it was. Exactly. وَجَعَلْنَا فِي الْأَرْضِ رَوَاسِيَ أَن تَمِيدَ بِكُمْ. The ayah that next to it is ayah number 30. It says, and we have made on the earth this stabilizers, basically the mountains. Rawasi is a mountain that stabilizes the crust of the earth on top, so it doesn't move, it doesn't shake on the earth. And he continues, وَجَعَلْنَا فِيهَا فِجَاجًا وَجَعَلْنَا السَّمَاءَ سَقْفًا مَحْفُوظًا. Ayah number 32. When have we made the heavens protected? On your sama in Arabic is on top of you. You have protection on top of your head, which is, as you all know, the ozone layer. Everything already knows it. It protects us from radiation, from heat. It protects us from meteorites. It protects us from many things. Who has made? وهو الذي خلق الليل والنهار والشمس والقمر كل في فلك يسبحون. It is He who has created the heavens, the night, the day, the sun, the moon, and everything is moving in orbits. So it's extraordinary. It's telling you. You have to think. So obviously there is one concept. If you are serious with ourselves, I study to know. If I don't know and I have a fact in front of me, normally I would say, what you call the benefit of the doubt. If somebody tells I made it and I can't find anyone else who made it, therefore I'll tell him you've done it. He told us, for example, in Surah 14:32, Allahu alladhi khalaqa as-samawati wal ard. It is Allah who has created the heaven. وَأَنزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً. And He sent down from the heavens water. فَأَخْرَجَ بِهِ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ. And then He brought forth fruit. رِزْقًا لَكُمْ sustenance. وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمُ الْفُلْكَ لِتَجْرِي فِي الْبَحْرِ بِأَمْرِهِ وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمْ. And has made subservient to you these boats and waters and the rivers. وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمُ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ دَائِبَيْنِ. And then He has made for you the subservient to you the sun and the moon forever. وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمُ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ. And then He's made the day and night also for you. وَآتَاكُم مِّن كُلِّ مَا سَأَلْتُمُوهُ. He's given you everything that you need. But He continues, وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. So obviously you can see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, at least think, I've given you this. If nobody else can tell you that I've given them to you, so I say, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, accept that. But obviously the more you study and the more you know, it is better. So that is the key word number one, that is Iman. The key word number two is love. What is love? Love, as you know, there are two types of love normally. one that we know, we don't even think about. It comes naturally. It's, we call it innate, we call it emotionally, we call it whatever. You love your country, you love your home, you love your wife, you love your husband, you love your children, you love, I don't know, your country, your food, whatever it is. There are certain things we just love, we don't even know why. And of course, there is another love which is more important, the love that we call intelligent love, love that we think before we love someone. For example, when the innate love, the one we love automatically, we don't think, we are not going to talk about that because that's not what the hadith is referring to. Because remember, the hadith, I'm not going away from the hadith. Hadith tells us you will find the sweetness of Iman if you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His messenger more than you love anyone else. So obviously there is some sort of love that we are trying to find out here. The love which is because of reason. We love someone. Why do we love someone anyway? Why do we love anyone? Out of reason, not out of the natural innate love. There are many reasons, but at least we can focus on three at least. You love someone because of their beauty. They're so beautiful that you love them. It's so beautiful, you like beauty. You love someone because of their generosity and kindness. Or indeed, you love them because of their greatness. And you can all see this all in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you look at the universe today, for example, look at the flower or look in nature, and you see the beauty everywhere. And what do you say normally? Wow, what a beautiful flower, what a beautiful this, and what a beautiful that, what a beautiful place that we go to, and so on. But you have to go a little bit further and see, okay, this is beautiful, but who has made it? So obviously, the beauty is everywhere. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that from the way He planned this universe is to be beautiful. For example, it starts with yourself, with human beings. Surah 40, ayah 64. وَصَوَّرَكُمْ فَأَحْسَنَ صُوَرَكُمْ. He has fashioned you and He's made you the most beautiful fashion, most beautiful way. If you go to talking about the heavens in Surah 15, ayah 16, وَلَقَدْ جَعَلْنَا فِي السَّمَاءِ بُرُوجًا وَزَيَّنَّاهَا لِلنَّاسِ. We beautify the heavens for those who look, and you can see the stars at night. It's just beautiful sometimes. And then this beauty is intended. For example, you read Surah 27:60, and talking about how the pasture or the vegetation on the earth. فَأَنبَتْنَا بِهَا حَدَائِقَ ذَاتَ بَهْجَةٍ مَا كَانَ لَكُمْ. And we have created for you this beautiful places of vegetation that you can see, of flowers and so on. You can see, and you can see that the beauty is indeed everywhere. We said beauty is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can find it everywhere. Wherever you look, you find the beauty in the natural world. Of course, I'm talking about the natural world. What we have done also is some of it is beautiful, some of it is indeed ugly, but a lot of it is also beautiful. So I'm talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created. Of course, there is also, we love someone for being generous. I always tell people, if somebody comes and knocks at your door every morning and gives you here's an envelope with this amount of money, say, for example, in our money today, every morning I come into you, knock at your door, here's £1,000 for you to enjoy yourself today. If I do it every day, or after 2-3 days, I'll become a very important person that you can't do without. But what is who has given us everything? Allah tells us in Surah 14:34, وَآتَاكُم مِّن كُلِّ مَا سَأَلْتُمُوهُ وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. He has given you from anything that you need. And if you try to count the blessings that you get from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can't find. And I'll give you an example from Surah, for example, from Surah 13, ayah 11. لَهُ مُعَقِّبَاتٌ مِّن بَيْنِ يَدَيْهِ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِ يَحْفَظُونَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِ اللَّهِ. You will find each person has got some sort of protection around him. Obviously, you're talking about angels, but it also can be talking about the immune system as well, which I'm just bringing the immune system because it's very important these days. We're only thinking about the immune system because of the corona business and so on. So who has given us the immune system in the first place? That we are, remember when these people tells us if you have a good immune system, that means that you will be safe and so on and so forth. But if you don't have it, then but who has given us the immune system? Who can give you an immune system in the first place? And indeed Allah tells us, as far as his greatness is concerned, وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ وَالْأَرْضُ جَمِيعًا قَبْضَتُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. They have not given Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala his true estimate. They don't estimate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on his due value, due worth. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah number 35-41, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُمْسِكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ أَن تَزُولَ. This is on its own will keep you gobsmacked. Indeed, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is holding the heavens and the earth to go away. And as you know, it's gravity that's holding us in our place, but who's made it in the first place? When we sit on orbit and keep on doing exactly the same thing, same place and so on, rotating around the sun at the same time, the same places, the day and night coming at the same time. What if we just disappear, we just go everywhere? Who's holding us? And obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us. Now I'm going to refer you to one ayah which I find extraordinary. So obviously, as I said, we're not talking about the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to the love of Allah, we're talking about the love intelligent, intellectual, not the emotional one that we don't control. But I'm talking about the one who gives you the great, one is beautiful and so on. So that's what we are talking about. And now I'm going to refer you to Surah 5, ayah 54. Allah says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا من يرتد منكم عن دينه فسوف يأتي الله بقوم يحبهم ويحبونه. All you who believe, if you turn away, you leave Islam, Allah will bring those whom He loves and they love Him. The question is here, He tells us, يحبهم ويحبونه. If you notice, he's bringing His love first to our love, to Him. He loves us more, and then we love Him. What is He talking about? Who loves who now? The question is who loves who? It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us because of giving us all these things that we have. He, out of His love to us, He gives us all what we have. And indeed, I'm going to refer you to one long hadith, which is called Hadith Qudsi. ما تقرب إلي عبدي أحب إلي بما افترضته. My servant will not come close to me until he perform that which I made it compulsory. And by the way, compulsory, what does it mean? When Allah says this is compulsory for you, it's only for your benefit. When Allah tells you you must pray, does it mean that He benefit? No. You're going to benefit. You're going to learn to be clean. You're going to learn to avoid this indecency and evil and so on. As the Quran tells us, when Allah tells you to give sadaqah, you learn to sadaqah means zakat or charity and so on. You learn to give, to get away from this greed of holding and so on. Let's go back to the Hadith Qudsi. My servant will only come close to me if he performed that which I made it compulsory. وَلَا يَزَالُ يَتَقَرَّبُ إِلَيَّ بِالنَّوْفِلِ حَتَّى. But he will continue coming close to me with doing extras until I love him. But when I love him, I become everything. So here you can see that not only that we must love Allah, and then we'll find the sweetness of Iman in when we love Allah, but indeed Allah loves us more than we love Him when we love Him. May Allah help us all, inshallah, to be able to love Him as much as we can. We do as much as we can, of course, and of course to understand and appreciate His love, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.